Good afternoon, David.
Oh, good afternoon, Davey.
Tell you what, well, I get Facebook on board. Why don't you play with AI?
All right, okay. Hang on. Here it goes. Let's have Mr. AI.
Indie Truck Davy says, keep your politics in your back pocket and your eyes on the prize.
This is the European Commission Official Policy Department. Scotland can rejoin the European Union without using the euro, and that's final. Do you think we'd refuse entry to such a rich country when they become independent? Get real. We hope that clarifies the issue for all those that have said otherwise. This is the European Commission.
Hang on,
This is the European.
You can stop playing with AI now, David.
Indie Truck Davy says, keep your politics in your back pocket and your eyes on the prize.
Away and hang your bum out to win the yes banner.
We didn't get from it to win the years spanner. I'd have said that and all. Sweetheart, could you, Madam Director, could I have a coffee, please? Yeah, Clampton says clamping the cat. Oh, we nearly had the cat as a guest star this afternoon, didn't we, David?
Yes, I was enjoying you stroking the cat, stroking behind the ears, and then in the German voice said, "We want you to die, Mr. John."
The joys of cats. Anyway, Facebook's on board. Afternoon, Melanie, first one in, and she says, "Hi, double trouble." Aye, well, you've met as Melanie, so you know. But let's look who's in, because we're climbing rapidly up to that 100 mark. Ali, you're forgiven because you've got to go to work. No naughty step. The naughty step has been suspended for the Two Davies.
Just so everybody knows, this is a final official Two Davies from between now and into January. What day in January are we coming back?
It'll be the second Monday in January.
Right, okay. So effectively that is so today's our Christmas do.
Right. So it's not going to be that fucking Christmassy. But anyway, you see, what's the way we look? Stephen Nichols in, Chris Fisher's in, Julie Brown's in, Mags is in, VW Icelandia is in. Hello.
Who?
Reagan Elite's in. Good afternoon, young fella. I'll be tuning in later. I'll be at work. It's going to be a late night tonight. Ice Ninja's in. Stephen, well, he's in. He's a mod. Eddie's in. Malcolm H. Morris is in. Henry's in. Lorraine's in. Ginger Giraffe's in. Gingers, we were looking at the analytics. You're one of your 11 returning US viewers. But you're the only one that watches alive, as far as I know. And
what do we say? We don't say Happy Christmas. Happy Holidays.
Aye, Happy Holidays. We'll get at the end of the show before we do that.
Aye.
You know, I know, right, into Facebook. Right, and Casper Northerners, and hi Casper, I hear you're really feeling great, pal. I hope you're feeling better now. Right, listen, right, we're up there 100 mark. Let's get this under. We're going to start off with Humza Yousaf to leave frontline politics.
This is dreadful. It really is. Humza is one guy that we had high hopes for, real high hopes.
Aye. And
his mother-in-law ended up trapped in Gaza. You know, and he got out of it.
He was interviewed on all the mainstream channels out of this. But I'm going to stick 30 or 40 seconds of this interview. Thank you, Madam Director. I'm going to put 30 or 40 seconds of this video up, and he'll explain himself why he's leaving, and then we'll go into a wee bit better depth. Okay. Where are we? YouTube. Ouch. Right, so here we go. Only about 30 seconds, 40 seconds this one.
Second big announcement of the year, second resignation, some might say. You stepped down as First Minister officially in May, but as of today, you're stepping back from Scottish frontline politics.
Frontline politics altogether.
What is it like to feud with the world's richest man? And how worried are you that he's going to be in a position of a lot of power in the Trump administration?
He's typical of these people who demand free speech and then are one of the first to attempt to shut it down when it's views that he does not like. Elon Musk, I said at the time, was one of the most dangerous men on the planet. Look, I don't want to leave Scotland, but ultimately if I take my former First Minister hat off and put on the most important hat, which is that of a father, can I say my children will be safe in this country? Absolutely, for simply being who they are. And I don't think I can definitively say yes to that.
Do you believe this government, the UK government, the Labour government of Keir Starmer and David Lammy and others, do you believe this government is complicit in Israel's genocide in Gaza?
Yes, in short, how can they not be?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to share with that. But 28-minute interview, but they be segments at the front were the big questions, and the big question when it came to why he was leaving frontline politics is because he and his family don't feel safe.
Well, the last thing that he said there about David Lammy and the Labour Party and all the rest of it being complicit, with Israel and all the rest of it, right? Absolutely true. If any of you have the opportunity to go into Al Jazeera, the TV channel, and look up what is called the Labour Files. I forget how many. It's 4 documentaries, and it goes into the Labour Party and exactly how come they are being paid for by Israel, right? And Israel come along and bought the front bench. That's it.
It was interesting, David. You and I were discussing the sliding scale in which they bought that front bench.
Yeah.
Prime Minister, 50,000.
Yeah.
Chancellor, 40,000. Foreign Secretary, 35,000. You're doing it a sliding scale.
Yeah.
And contributions.
Now, why is this so open? Why is this information so prevalent? That's simple. It's because Al Jazeera have made it so.
Aye.
And
when it comes to Humza himself and his reasons for leaving frontline politics.
we can check this out. And also what they're doing is they're using one particular gentleman, I forget his name, but you can look it up and Google it as the donor. And it comes from Israel. Something like that.
But let's get back on to Mr. Yousaf. As you said, with high hopes from. But since the press slating him as being the first minister in Gaza and that, because he was straight out of the box to say this is a genocide, which is contrary to the UK government stance.
Right. Yeah.
This man has been subject to all sorts. And in his fight with Elon Musk means his social media is full of threats and everything. But what makes it worse is it is racism, it is a bigotry. Just because the man's a Muslim, the guy was born here and he's facing having to leave here.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't feel his children will be safe because he was the first minister of Scotland who came out and went against the UK government and everybody else and said, no, this is a fucking genocide.
What gets me is that his house has been done.
Aye.
His car's been vandalised, all the rest of it, right? Okay. If he is being attacked in this way, right, we look at the amount of effort the police put into trying to prosecute the Nicola Sturgeon, right, and her husband and her treasurer. Why not put a bit of effort into finding out who was attacking Humza Yousaf? Simple as that.
Aye. Andy Scott, Brian, Stephen Flynn's only options left. We'll get to that. We will get to that.
Yeah.
It is one of our talking points. So we will. I can assure you that.
There's waiting moves.
So, damn fine young man.
Yeah.
Damn fine politician.
Yeah.
Damn fine minister.
We both
scared the shit out of him.
Valued Humza Yousaf. We really valued Humza Yousaf.
Aye, and he really scared the shit out of him as first minister because he knew the route out of this fucking union.
Yep.
And that was to put a majority of MPs down there and call it, and there's not a fucking thing they can do about it.
Yeah. But instead, what we had John Swinney.
I'm talking about it. Aye, but that was after Humza. After Humza.
Yeah,
The reason why they had to get rid of Humza was because he was going to call it. They knew fine well if he called there was nothing they could do about it because the international community will recognise it.
Yeah.
Because our MPs carry the sovereignty of the Scottish people as part of that treaty down there to that fucking Parliament. But if they withdraw from that treaty and decide that and vote unanimously to dissolve the treaty, there's nothing England can do about it.
Yeah.
Right, I guess we better move on. Farewell, Humza, and let's hope you don't have to. You're no forced to leave it. You know. Sarwar fake rift with Starmer. Now, I touched on this morning, David, and I want to get into it a bit deeper. Because two-child benefit cap, fake rage for Sarwar, he knew it was happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Winter payment allowance, fake rage for Sarwar, and fake Scottish Labour saying that we'd reinstate it in some form here in Scotland. But that might have been a political move to force the SNP to do what they did. Right? And now, of course, with the WASPI women, fake rage. Here's why I'm bringing this up, folks, is because here's the thing. They might not think much of Sarwar. They might not give a shit about Scotland, the Scottish Labour. But they will have given him the heads up to give him a chance to prepare his excuses, his disappointment, his fake rage.
Well, last night I actually read Paul Kavanagh had actually written the wee ginger dog, right?
Aye.
He'd written a letter, a post, whatever you like, where he explained that Labour figures all over the place were getting rid of any mention of the WASPI claim. Because what they said was, before the election, they stood with the WASPI woman.
I know when we get to the WASPI women, David, because I've got a great example where I put up. Thank you very much. It's very generous of you.
Very thank you, John. We need to mention that at this point, that the Labour figures were getting rid of that off their own websites.
Aye, I know.
If you looked up what any of these ones said, especially the wee shit that runs, he's in charge of the Scottish Westminster. What do they call him?
Shanks.
No, not Shanks. Shanks is
Ian Murray.
Murray. That's right. You look up him, and you look up anything to do with this woman, you end up with Error 404.
Aye.
The blank page, Error 404. And beforehand, if anybody was quick enough, they'd actually seen Murray with certain WASPI woman.
That's all right. I'm a screenshot, David. It's all out there. I mean, there's hundreds of them. I'm only going to put one up, right, when we get to the WASPI woman thing. But I watched hundreds of them. I even watched them giving speeches. Rachel Reid giving a speech saying that she gave the money back. But I wanted to save that until we get to WASPI women. Because at the moment, we're talking about the fake fire coming from Anna Sarwar. Because it is fake, and people have to understand it's fake. He might go with that eye up the pecking order, but they won't give him the heads up.
The most important thing is that his chancery has cost him, because at the end of the day, he himself has put himself in the position of being, if elected, blah blah blah, I will, and that means he's the top guy in Scotland, and therefore he has to fall on his own sword. He must resign.
Well,
he's got to resign.
One thing's for sure. At that Westminster election, Labour got elected on deception after deception. We Keir Starmer Stoneway, Sarwar up here and promised to get rid of that two-child cap.
Yeah.
We had them stone up here and promised with Sarwar to sort out the WASPI woman.
Yeah.
There was no mention of scrapping the winter fuel tax, of course.
Yeah.
Winter fuel.
Yeah.
You know. But it is getting to that point, as I'll put this one up, it's getting to the point where it needs to choose between country and party.
Well, if that's the case, then definitely with Sarwar, he would end up, he would go across to Pakistan, be with his dad, something like that. You know.
When it comes to the Labour Party here having to choose between country and party, well, they can't afford to split for the UK Labour. They've only got 10,000 members and 4,000 associate members through their social clubs.
Yeah.
So they don't have any money. So Scottish Labour's got nothing. They can't do nothing but kowtow to the Labour Party south of the border because they hold the purse strings, you know.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for the UK Labour Party, Labour would be gone from Scotland because they couldn't finance elections.
Yeah, well, you look at their head office, right? We were looking at it today, Crow Road in Glasgow, right? We went down to Street View and we'd have looked for it. We thought, okay, where's this big office for Scottish Labour, right? No, looked at it, you know, hairdresser, florist, whatever, you know, right? And then a wee door between them all. And then we looked up on the first floor and you could see maybe 4 windows. And it's been offices above those. So it's not even a nice big office. It's old tenement.
Flat at Crow Road.
That's right.
Right. So it's just to make it clear, people. The press here are backpedaling, trying to give Sarwar a platform. Notice he went to ground for a couple of days to get his heat together.
Yeah.
And now he's come out with, I disagree. No, Mark, when you fucking disagree, I'm deeply disappointed. No, Mark, I'm deeply disappointed. You're not going to do nothing about it. And the 37 MPs that you asked people to send down there is a strong delegation to be stormed up for Scotland. Turns out you were a fucking liar on that one, or all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, the press have been giving him a platform today to say that there's a rift between him and Starmer on this one. Well,
Yeah.
he's got a free rein to say that because during the press in England, they're saying that the MPs are going to rebel against him. But if they won't, he'll whip them. That'll be it. You know?
Yeah.
With a majority that big, he can afford to lose half a dozen. He can afford to lose 12. You know?
Well, okay. It depends on the situation as to what he will be able to whip together, right? But there are situations I've heard talked about where he could end up in sticky mud, you know.
I'm going to put this one up to Mr. E because it's quite it's the right one to show. Nah, it's Stevens. That's need to hit the like button, folks.
Right.
There's no honour between thieves. I guess if you take the Scottish thieves and the English thieves, I guess there is no honour amongst them. You know?
No.
But as I say, it's important to highlight, folks, that this full rage for Sarwar is being portrayed in the press as a lot of bollocks. He had the heads up. They give them a heads up every time to get their excuses in place.
Yeah.
So he knew it was happening, and he knew prior to that election when we stood on the platform, we Mr. Starmer saying, we'll scrap the two-child cap. Sarwar knew he was still on their line to you. He knew
well, it. Sarwar is one figure I won't be unhappy at waving bye-bye.
Nah, never will. Right, I wanted to get into this one a wee bit more, David, because it was quite concerning when I read it this morning.
Right.
And that is that the UK competition regulator wants the Scottish Government to justify keeping CalMac in public hands. Now, basically what's happened is the Competitions Commission, the UK Competitions Commission, have decided to have a look at CalMac as a private company, and they're demanding that the Scottish Government justify no putting the service into no privatising the service. They want the Scottish Government to justify spending Scottish money and keeping this in public hands. Now, David, I went into this wee bit earlier, and that is, thank you, Neil. Very generous of you.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you very much.
We don't have a Christmas party, mate, but I'll definitely go to charity.
Happy Christmas.
But
Yeah, the thing about this is that you look at value for money, right? Let's say you privatised the Calmac, right? Let's say that they ended up with, let's say, 20,000 shareholders. And yeah, oh, that's great. That's good.
When's
It's
the
good
last of next year? Thank you very much, Alistair.
No,
You're very generous.
Right. Oh, thank you very much, Alistair. So they end up with like 20,000 shareholders, right? As far as I'm concerned, that's not good value for money. Best value for money is a public company, public setup, as Calmac is, owned by the people of Scotland, where they've got
Serving the people of Scotland, that's right.
5.4 million shareholders.
I mean, the SNP fought for years to get ScotRail back into public hands.
Yeah.
And now they've managed it with a franchise. Now what we need to do is wrestle Network Rail off of Westminster. Because Network Rail is a fair comp to our problems in the railways here.
Well, if the Monopolies Commission decide that they want to go this route, right?
Yep.
That means dead simple. England cannot buy any more franchises on the railway.
Well, to be fair, the ones that have taken back into public hands so far, nobody wanted to bid for the fuckers anyway.
Yeah, but that's fine. That's done. But this is now. And they're looking at buying a couple as they become available, right? They can't. Someone's that. If they're going to attack Scotland, don't argue if somebody attacks you back from Scotland.
They don't care about that.
Yeah, saying that if you do this, you cannot buy any more rail franchises. Someone's that.
But that's the thing. Hasbury stumbles. A private operator wouldn't get the public funds to keep the road equivalent to private price. They just wouldn't.
Right. Dead right.
The Scottish Government of any hue would turn around and say, no, it's private, you're on the ferries.
Yeah.
But we've got to ensure that they don't get their horns, they don't force the Scottish Government to sell Calmac, because Calmac is one of the best ferry services on the planet.
That's right.
And that's based on service type, cleanliness, punctuality, the whole lot. It is one of the best services on the planet.
What they try, or what the newspapers tried to do, is try to conflate both Calmac and Ferguson's ship.
That's right, aye.
As if they're part and parcel of the same thing. They're not. You know.
But they say it is worrying. Could they then do the same thing with water?
Yes, exactly. They've been trying to do it.
They couldn't do it with railways because the franchise comes up every so many years for renewal.
Yeah, but they've been trying the thing on with water. We were talking about what's his face from Paisley, with the Labour chap from Paisley.
Murphy.
What? No, not Murphy. The chap that was upskittled with the last.
Danny Alexander.
That's the one. No, Danny Alexander. Alexander is his second name.
Douglas Alexander.
Douglas Alexander. Yeah, right.
Aye, sorry.
I mean, going right as far back as that, I remember him having a go at the Scottish Water at that time. Him and his sister.
Aye, Wendy, that's right. They wanted to privatise Scottish Water, that's right.
That's right.
So no, but this is a real concern, especially as some of these services are lifeline services, and they're the ones specifically that the Competition Commission has looked at them and said, justify the public money for this, because you see there are private ferry companies working the West Coast as well.
Yeah.
But no, the lifeline services, they're all Calmac.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the worry. This Competition Commission have asked them to justify keeping their lifeline services in public hands. So this is real worrying, especially the people with the islands. You know, but the fact that the UK Competition Commission is getting involved in a private company and demanding that the Scottish Government justifies paying for that company.
David McGuinness, are you going to bring up the selling off of Prestwick Airport at the next SNP conference?
Well, if I get a chance, because I don't want them to sell it. It's making a profit. It's profit for the public purse as well as
Right.
reinvesting in the airport. Thank you very much, Graham.
Yeah, thank you, Graham.
The English Devolution Bill is due out before Christmas. It will allow more scope for privatisation of the public services. I'll have a look at it. I have to say I haven't had a look at it here.
Yeah, well, the English Devolution.
Thank you very much for such a generous donation this close to Christmas.
Yeah, Graham, the English Devolution, they tried to bring it in when I lived down there, right?
No, but he's talking about the new devolution where they get devolved the mayoral fucking fiefdoms, if you like.
Yeah, they're trying to do it by mayor. Something like that, you know.
One mayor at a time.
But the time that I was there, they were actually trying to produce an actual devolved parliament.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And that was the 1980s. That would be. Yeah, the 1980s.
Right. I'm going to put this one up. I spoke about it earlier. I don't normally put this rancid rag up, but I'm going to put this one up, David, because it really is time to shut this nonsense down. And I don't know why Neil Gray apologised. That's a tell me fuck off. Another SNP football limo scandal. Driving Miss Crazy. Justice Secretary Angela Constance used ministerial card to attend Old Firm Cup final with family member. Just weeks after Health Secretary apologised for abusing same pair, and only 2 days before ministers were warned not to make the same mistake. Now, right. I don't know why there's no
Can I just stop you there, right? Angela has been pulled up several times on several things, right? If you remember with the drugs thing that we had, right? She was getting pulled up about that, about the state of the drug taking in Scotland as opposed to England or whatever, right? And she apologised on TV rather than saying, well, wait a minute, it's reserved to England. It's reserved to Westminster.
But here's the other thing, David. I don't know why they're not facing this one, didn't? Because as you and I know, ministers in England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland are carried about in their ministerial motors for very important reasons, and that is security.
What I'm trying to say to you is Angela Constance is a good target because rather than fight a corner, she will just apologise.
Well, but I don't know why they're not facing this down, because as we know, ministers, and it's a dangerous time for politicians because the politicians are, at this point in time when it comes to profession, is below gutter journalism and fucking estate agents and lawyers, and that's saying something. And we've had politicians killed recently.
Yeah.
Now the reason why, folks, now let's blow this out the water. Limogate for a start. Scottish ministers travel in Skoda Octavias.
Yeah.
They're no fucking limousines. They're the same thing that private cab companies use. Skoda Octavias.
Yeah. But in actual fact, just to put the cap on this, we don't expect these people or politicians to sit in the back of one of these cars and give it that.
Right.
You know,
at
the end of the day, it's like they are inside that car with a driver that's actually a security guard, if you like, right? Remember all the security services. You be trained on
escape and evasion
driving or whatever.
Escape and evasion.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like they need to be in the back of one of these cars. So was that.
And especially at this point in time when every other week they're telling us that our politicians have been threatened via email or via letter and things like that. I mean, why the SNP are no fronting this?
Look at Humza. He's considering moving his family to blow in Pakistan because of this situation. He's saying Scotland not safe anymore, you know.
As I say, but
So,
I mean, why are they not facing this down? And apart
Yeah.
from that, Angela's the Justice Secretary.
yeah.
She was going to the roughest football fixture on the fucking planet, apparently, according to some. Although they
Yeah.
should see the job, Boca Junior shit and all that, you know.
Yeah.
But well, they shoot each other. But if you're going to go and observe the behaviour of people at a football match and you're the Justice Secretary, and you might be thinking about reintroducing the abuse, what do we call it? The offensive behaviour at Football Act, because it really needs to come back.
Mm.
Because all this stuff had been knocked the fucking head until James Kelly wanted to overturn it and go the Sun and the record backed him up in it. And then all of a sudden it was popular demand. The people were old enough to behave themselves. So the Offensive Behaviour of Football Act was overturned. I think you and I spoke about it at the time.
Yeah.
No, it would be me in the truck. This would be before this, you know. And here we are, 4 or 5 years later, since that bill's been overturned, and we're back at fucking hooliganism and sectarianism. But as I said at the time, that is a staple of the UK government, divide and rule. You know, whereas the Offensive Behaviour at Football Act, it basically quelled it all.
Yeah.
You know. But this nonsense about ministers travelling in ministerial cars to events, why is it that there's nobody standing up Westminster demanding an explanation on why Keir Starmer used his ministerial Range Rover to ferry him and his family to Taylor fucking Swift concerts?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why, because our government's meek. Our front bench is meek. And it's no fucking standing up and saying, hey, it's a dangerous world out here. You lot are getting threats in your own inboxes. How do you think it is for us ministers?
No, but yeah, again, as far as I'm concerned, the common denominator is Angela Constance, who, when challenged, she will just back down and say, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, but Neil apologised in order. Tell me, fuck off. I'm a secure driver, thank you very much. It's a dangerous place out there to be a politician at this point in time. As I say, because at this point in time, when we look at all the professions, the one that's held in the least regard at this point in time is a politician.
Yeah.
And the mere fact that the SNP are letting this shit permeate absolutely surprises me.
Mm.
And you know what's worse? See the fuckers that are bringing this up, the Brit Nats, they know fine well, because their inboxes are getting it and all, and they're standing up their parliament every week saying, we're taking abuse. How do you think it is to be a minister? I mean, when Mary Black actually step away from politics because of it. Oh, as I say, they need to grow a backbone along here. But folks, to let you know, this is a bullshit story. Ministers travel with ministerial cars because their drivers are normally armed response officers and they're trained in escape and evasion when it comes to driving. All right? They're also trained in defensive driving. So that's the reason why ministers travel in ministerial cars.
Anyway, right.
And it's also why, before we finish this one, it's also why the UK government is just giving MPs and devolved administrations a shitload of money to secure a constituency offices.
Yeah.
I mean, they think we're stupid. I mean, they print in the papers that it's such a dangerous place out there for MPs and MSPs and the Westminster Parliament devolved administration at this point in time that Westminster granted the money for increased security. And now they tell us ministers using their car for security reasons, for safety reasons, when travelling about, is a waste of public money. So the UK government wasted all that public money giving it to MSP, devolved administrations and MPs for increased security, did they? It's hypocrisy in the highest levels. But the fact that our SNP government's no fronting this one did. This is a situation where John Swinney should be standing up in that chamber and say, hey, you muppets, that's enough. You know exactly why ministers travel in ministerial cars. It's for their safety.
Well, you know, yet again, it's like a lie is halfway across the planet before
before Trump gets his boots on.
it's on. Yeah. It's,
Right.
yeah,
Yes,
again,
we better move on and all because time is
we're
moving on.
doing it. We've got the hard job of where we meet somebody and start talking about this, and you go, hang on a second, she's in a car with a driver providing security for her. Simple as that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on. MSP's passed bill to end double jobbing. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
We know why it was done. It was to try and prevent Stephen Flynn holding a seat in both parliaments. And as was put up earlier, Stephen Flynn will now need to step down and cause a by-election.
Or he gets a situation where somebody else is put up as First Minister, but they do it in the knowledge that Stephen Flynn is the boss and he's able to run both parliaments.
Aye, but he would need to become the leader of the party for that.
We had
and because of David, you know fine well, the way we have set the SNP up, unless Stephen Flynn's an MSP, you can't be leader of the party.
Yeah, I know.
Because we focus all our attention and put the seat of power in Scotland, and that is Holyrood.
That would.
We've already spoken about Westminster as a second.
Yeah, that would only take a vote to change. Seriously.
Aye. Within the party structures itself.
Yeah.
But we have to remember, within the party structures, we've set it up so that only the First Minister of Scotland can be party leader, or an ordinary member who's not elected can be party leader.
Yeah. But all these things are not set in tablets of stone.
Well, it's just been passed into law, actually, so the law would now need to be repealed.
Yeah.
Or it's past its first stage anyway.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to pass because it got majority support in Parliament, including the SNP.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I agree. If you're going to be an MSP, then no side hustles. That's your job. You've been paid out the public purse to serve your constituencies. And that includes sitting in both houses as a side hustle. As you know, David, at this point in time when devolution is under attack, I would like there to be somebody with a foot in both houses.
Yeah.
But I mean, this CalMac thing is an example of devolution under attack. What basically they're doing is they're auditing the Scottish budget, Scottish government's books by the back door.
Well, yeah. You're talking the minister involved in this is it's not the Monopolies and Mergers Commission. It's the
business.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Was it Jonathan? What will come to me?
Reynolds.
Jonathan Reynolds, that's it. Jonathan Reynolds. He's the business secretary for Labour at the moment.
Yeah.
And he must be the person that's driving this.
Yeah. And the reason he's driving it, pure and simply, it's another way of getting the.
It's just another SNP budget.
Yeah, that's right.
But on this double jobbing thing, David, we don't need to spend much time on it. I think we all agree that MPs and MSPs and elected officials should have one job, and that's to serve the people who elect them.
Yeah.
No side hustles unless you're a doctor needing to keep up skills.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Listen, the Santa stuff's for the end of Truck Davy show. Come on. If Santa concentrates, thanks for that, Lauren. If Santa concentrates on children, what does that make Santa? You've always been a good girl. I'm sure there'll be a present under the tree for you, dear.
Yeah, you're not in the naughty book. Well, I can assure you. Don't worry about that.
I don't know. Santa's taking the list. I can't check. But as I say, that's for the morning show. Right, let's move on because we are motoring through time here, and we've only finished the Scottish issues. Right, MPs passed bill WASPI women to fight on.
Yeah, that this is the one situation I'm going to say that is a hang your bloody heads in shame.
Well, it's even worse, as you said, David, because they were out everywhere prior to that election, stoning with WASPI women, things like that.
That's right.
And as you say, the Labour Party have now started raising that. But I thought I would take a wee screenshot of one of them and all while they were flying about before they're all done. By the way, I've checked the Scottish Labour Party's website. It's all gone.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, where's my Facebook page? You'll enjoy this one. Once I shut down give me 2 seconds to shut down the fucking private.
I mean, your Scottish Labour website, obviously it's a member that's changed that, right? The person that's actually got that job is a member.
Here's Keir Starmer himself, folks, prior to that election.
Yeah, okay.
Labour pledged $58 billion to help women caught up in pensions trap. And I thank Anne's for sending that to me. And that's Keir Starmer's social media platform. That's where that was captured from. So
yeah, what I'm saying was the person that changed the Scottish Labour website to take down any mention of the WASPI woman, right? How does that person feel? How's that person who actually did the job of taking that off, taking all the stuff out of that website? How do they feel about that? Huh? Come on,
Reagan away, don't forget pictures with him meeting with WASPI women, how times have changed. It just shows you what a fucking liar the man is.
Yeah,
he's in that parliament as the PM at the head of a party which deliberately misled to get power. And now that they're in power, they're behaving exactly, or if not worse, than the Muppets that came before.
Yeah, I know.
Because I don't see the Tories having the voice to take away the winter fuel payment.
Yeah.
They would have carried on with 2-child cap.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think they might have paid out to the WASPI women. But that's because it was a Labour fuck-up to start with.
Yeah.
This was Tony Blair in 1995, him and Gordon Brown. So, all right, George Osborne accelerated the pace of it, which caught even more women out. But it's an absolute outrage, but these women are all geeing up, and as I said this morning, we all have to back them. The compensation package was £3,000. The amount of money that lost was $44,500, depending on their age. Can I tell
you guys that the most important thing that Scotland could have after independence is a written constitution. So it doesn't matter what the politicians do; they have to actually kowtow to that constitution and every single word, syllable, full stop, comma, right? And in that constitution can be such things as, if you make a mistake and it's sorted out, it takes years to sort out, if people start dying before it gets sorted out, any money that comes off goes to the families of the person that has been fighting, right? So we've got the WASPI woman. I had a situation whereby my own mother-in-law was one of the WASPI women. She died a couple of months ago, and that's it. It's over and done with. Yeah.
Chris, I made this suggestion and all, but unfortunately, they would have to go to Westminster for permission to give the WASPI women here in Scotland, give the WASPI women here in Scotland compensation, because it's a reserved issue pensions.
Yeah.
As is a 2-child cap, but they're willing to work with them on the 2-child cap, but in this one they won't. They just won't.
The only way that we could possibly do this for people of Scotland is independence.
Right, anyway, that one was and that doesn't just affect the women in Scotland, it affects women UK wide. But it is another example of how this Labour government got into power by deception.
Yeah.
They cynically told everybody what they wanted to hear and get in and did nothing.
Yeah.
In fact, went one step further, came in, claimed the books were fucking in a hell of a state and they were going to have to be worse, and go back to George Osborne's austerity. Rachel Reeves just sounds like George Osborne, but
well, they did before the election. They tried to make themselves look like the good guys.
aye.
Look at this lot across here. We're the honourable ones. We're the ones with good honour and all the rest of it, right? If we get in, it's like it won't be the same as that bunch across there. They're worse. They're worse than that bunch across there. Yeah? The red Tories are worse than the blue Tories now.
Aye, they are. But they're not really political parties anymore.
Yeah, but the problem we stand in now is we are still part of the UK. Still part of the UK.
Anyway, we need to move on, David. We're down to 15 minutes.
David, and what happens is, in the situation where maybe Keir Starmer and the Labour Party are booted and it's down to another election, remember, it's the people of England who choose the leader of that or the party that gets in, right? What if it's Reform that gets in place of Labour?
Aye, so we're about to get to that, David.
Yeah, all right.
And that is Elon Musk to attempt hostile takeover of UK politics. Now, he's going to give $100 million, 78 million quid to Farage to try and buy the 2029 UK election.
How's it going to do that when the maximum you can actually give in a donation to a UK party is 1 million?
1 million at a time.
Yeah.
He's going to bypass the fact that they're also a political party, but that's a wee bit. It's because of the limited company.
Yeah.
So what he's going to do is, because it's a public limited company, he's going to pass the money to Twitter to Reform UK PLC.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about that is David and I have been doing a bit of digging, and they're all fucking public limited companies. Labour, I'll put it up. First registered under this name in 1969.
If you don't know the difference between a limited company and a public limited company, it became very, very in the thing to do, right? I had a friend that owned a telephone company in the northeast, and he wanted to create a PLC, and it meant putting up a certain number of his shares for ownership by public, and it made it a PLC, and it meant a lot of money would come into the company. So PLC.
Anyway, Labour Party Nominees Limited was set. That was the first incarnation as the Labour Party as a limited company. We're now Labour UK. In fact, there's dozens and dozens. There's 8,000 of them. Anyway, this was the first incarnation of Labour as a PLC. And that was incorporated in the 19th of November 1969, and it's a private company limited by guarantee without share capital.
So how many is there in total, Dave? 8,000 what?
233 at Company's House in Eden.
8,233.
London, yes.
Effectively, you could say that 7,500 of them, even to 8,000 of them, could be shelf companies.
Could be, but I mean, you can look up Labour properties because Labour's one of the biggest landlords in the UK and things like that. These are things that people don't know about the Labour Party, of course. And almost every every constituency that's got a constituency Labour Party, social club or whatever, they're all PLCs. All the constituencies, Labour parties are set up as limited companies. But it looks as if.
I tell you what, it would be worthwhile doing a bit of digging in that to see if they've got their accounts maybe set up in the British Virgin Islands, place for stuffing money. You never know,
Aye, we don't, but it would be worth investigating. But as I say, they've all got limited. They're all the bigger party, the headquarters and things like that are all PLCs, and the constituency Labour parties or limited companies and things like that. And it's all to do with donations, David. It means that they can use dark money easily.
Yeah,
can
they
bypass
can
the electoral commission.
feed it in how they like. Simple as that.
Right.
You know, because if you imagine, it's like, would it be against the law for donations to come into a political party from shelf companies? No reason.
What do you do? What do you do when it's a limited company? You sell them some shares. So what will Elon Musk get for the 78 million quid? He'll get access to number 10 because Farage will win. But more importantly, he'll get a couple of shares to make it look legal.
Yeah.
It'll look as if he's bought a share in Reform UK PLC. What's interesting about Reform UK PLC? It's not Reform UK PLC at all.
The Brexit Party.
It's a subsidiary of the Brexit Party, which is also a PLC.
Yeah.
It's just a name change at Companies House, Peel. You can look this up yourself.
Yeah, but
By the way, there are 7
on the electoral register. That's the important one.
Aye,
The
you need to change on the electoral register. That's correct.
Party. And one of the sort of dozen guises that they've got that they're allowed is Reform UK.
Aye, we better explain that. Each political party, so the Brexit Party is allowed to have 12 regional names, the Labour Party is allowed to have 12 regional names, the Conservative Party is allowed to have 12 regional names, the SNP are allowed to have 12 regional names. It's how the electoral commission rules work when it comes to this stuff. You know, so that's so you have Labour Scotland, you have Labour North East, Labour North West, that sort of thing. Well, Reform UK, you get the Brexit Party, then the Reform UK, and then you get several. Below that, there's another 6 Reform regional names. And no doubt they'll get up to the maximum of 12.
Yeah.
And no doubt Musk will funnel the money in through all 6 of them.
Yeah.
You know, in exchange for a few shares.
It sounds to me as if they're trying to be a wee bit clever. And it sounds to me as if, as we were discussing yesterday, it's a hostile takeover of British politics.
Yes, and Ange, Merry Christmas to you and all. I know you're working the new, I know you're working in logistics, and logistics are going fucking mental this time of year because everybody wants a Christmas present. So I'll see you later.
Glad
Merry
to keep doing this program keeps me sane, so there you go.
So this is going to be interesting to watch how this develops. But it is quite scary that Nigel Farage could be a puppet for whoever Trump's masters are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because one thing's for sure, Trump's a puppet and all, and the reason why he's a puppet is because he's skint.
Yeah.
And those who have, like Elon Musk, thought we can get a grip of this guy and get what we want.
Yeah.
And it would appear they're coming after the UK as well.
And Elon Musk, you know him as doing the SpaceX thing, right? You know him as for producing Tesla cars, right? And Tesla power systems and all the rest of it. Latest one of the lot is where he hasn't done it himself. He'll ask them to do it. He's bought this Electrolux plant in America and filled it with computer gear, and he's produced this thing called Colossus, which is the biggest AI in the world.
People look up Colossus. We've only got 10 minutes left and a couple of subjects to cover.
Right.
All right, look up Colossus. But what we do know is that Trump's powerful backers have got their eyes on UK democracy as well.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Thanks, Mr. E. You're a star. Thank you very much, Mr. E.
You're right. Happy Christmas.
Yep. Right, you could government to spend 6. Wait a minute. I don't get it that easy, man. Okay. Anyway, UK government to spend $6 billion fixing mistake of John Major. This is a cracking story. An absolutely cracking story. It is brilliant.
Go on then.
It's got to do with privatisation. Back when John Major introduced the PFI schemes, right?
Yeah.
So they sell off the Ministry of Defence sell off all their housing stock for the squaddies.
Was it just my quarters? Was
And
it
the
just oil?
Manny going, aye. Not just that, the nappies, everything.
Right.
Sell it off to a private equity company, right? You get this, and then the army rented it back at 250 million quid a year.
So, what was the original purchase price?
I think it was 2.9 billion or something like that, or less than that. Actually.
Right.
Anyway, so the Ministry of Defence is going to spend, or the UK government is going to spend 6 billion quid buying it back. So the company that bought the stuff, the equity company that bought the stock in the first place, who have been running it and renting it back to the Ministry, where the Ministry paying for repairs, by the way.
Yeah.
The Ministry of Defence is buying it back from, and they're going to make a huge profit. And the reason why they're buying it back, because the company that John Major sold it to hadn't been maintaining it, and it's not up to spec. So they're buying it back. They're going to spend billions more bringing it up.
But the thing is, the company that actually owned it, that they actually had a deal that the British government paid for all repairs.
Yes, it was all in the sale.
So I really don't.
It was an attempt to make an attempt to make the public coffers look better than they were. You know, it carried on under Tony Blair as well with the PFI. Okay, I mean a fine example of it is the railway franchises, right?
Yeah.
When they broke up the railways, they sold all their own stock to one company, and then they put the railways out to franchise. So whatever franchises run the railway, they've got to get the fucking got to rent their own stock off this one company. It's a scam and a bit.
Yeah.
This is how you waste billions and billions of pounds of public money. You know, and PFI's back, by the way. Wow. Yeah. So 30 years on, there's no been a saving to the public purse. The accommodation's 40 bits. The public's having to cough up 6 billion quid to buy it back, and a few billion quid to bring it up to spec for our soldiers to live in with their families. For fuck's sake, they're a scam in a bit, is it no?
I mean, the setup that bought it in the first place, and John's thingy's time, the sale of all these properties, they must be laughing all the way at the bank.
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah.
And I wonder what John Major got with it. I wonder what the Tories back then got with it.
Well,
Anyway, the next one, we need to go, we'll run through it quite quickly, David. The next one, dispelling the myth, or dispelling a myth. And this is for everybody who is watching mainstream media, everybody that's reading the papers and all that. Apparently, next year in 2025, the trade and a cooperation agreement with the EU is up for renegotiation. Let's bust this myth. The trade and cooperation agreement is not up for renegotiation. In 2025 through to 2026, they will have a look at the agreement, the trade deal, and see what bits are working well and what bits are not working well. And they'll look to see if they can tweak the bits that are not working well. But this is not up for renegotiation. And anybody who you speak to who thinks this trade deal is up for renegotiation next year, you have
in actual fact, they're going further than that. They're saying we're going to rejoin the EU. No chance. Absolutely. But everybody in the whole of England and Wales could vote to get back in, and the guy at the EU would go, "Nah, sorry, not interested." It takes two people to make an agreement. Yeah. Even if one person is totally into whatever the agreement is, the other person isn't, it's not going to happen. So the EU have gone through a hell of a time with the UK leaving the EU. Do you think they're going to consider letting them back in? Nah. Sorry.
No, but and the mainstream media right now, and some of the only fucking online media, UK media, they're all talking about a renegotiation. If the people are thinking this is up for renegotiation, they're being misled, David. And
Well,
that's
no,
what we're with
the
the
thing is,
spelling.
people are being misled because they maybe are talking about this renegotiation, right? But they're making it sound as if it's a renegotiation about EU membership.
Apparently, the latest. Oh, that's not wrong one. But same to yourself, Ori. The latest polling from Nordstar. Do Scots want to be a republic? 59%.
Definitely,
Yes.
we do. That's 100% of me, and also 100% of him.
You're right. Look, folks. Anybody you're talking to thinks that this trade deal is up for renegotiation next year. Please correct them. They're being misled by the mainstream media. It is not up for renegotiation at all.
Yeah.
The trade and cooperation agreement is done. The EU are happy with it. They'll have a look at things that might need tweak. But apart from that, this trade deal is not changing.
And the reason why they're not going to do very much about it is because it was an agreement that was put together by Boris Johnson and Frost, with Barney at the opposite side of the table, and basically it was very difficult just to get there. It was to help them get out and collapse the EU membership for the UK.
Aye.
And at the end of the day, they ain't going to spend much time over that, I can assure you.
Right, we're only going to get 2 minutes on this because we're already due our time, but it's the sad deception of the Syrian people. It's heartbreaking to watch, David.
It is heartbreaking, of course it is.
Last liberator is now being turned on by the people because he's no protector for Israel.
Yeah, Netanyahu arrived in Syria yesterday. He was actually pictured on the TV having arrived in Syria. And to be honest with you, it's going to be carved up. Syria is going to be carved up.
Already is, David. As you know, the Turks have already annexed a huge area. Israel's already advancing the area that they've already annexed. The US has already annexed a great area. And the one bit that's not been annexed by anybody is the border with Iraq. And the Syrian administration is not going anywhere near that because Iraq's already warned them that they'll take preemptive strikes. It looks like Syria is coming to an end. It looks like it's going to be carved up.
If you look at this as being a gang that's organising a bank heist, right? Who's the mastermind?
No, in this case, it's America.
America, definitely, right? And this is you've got a situation whereby China was bringing through a gas and oil pipeline. They landed at one of the ports in Syria, and the Americans went, "What? That means they're in the Mediterranean. No chance." And
I don't really want to, David. I don't want to get into the politics of it. I just want to make it clear that the Syrian people are being fucking deceived.
While we were all watching Israel on the 7th of October and a couple of days after that, right? The American battle fleet were firing missiles into Syria, left, right, and centre. Remember, it's always a case of once you're watching the cat being rescued up the tree, you should be looking at the other news headlines that are going ahead at the same time.
Right, but as I say, the point is the people of Syria have been mugged Bashir has been displaced by an asset of the United States and by extension Israel, and this new Al Joey, the head of the HTS, he himself is doing nothing about the incursions by Israel. He's not doing nothing to defend the people. And he's claiming to be Israel's friend while Israel's bombing the shit out of the place.
Yeah.
You know, and destroying all their assets. They say the people of Syria, sorry folks, you're the new Gaza.
Yeah. Anyway, right,
that's it, folks. David, we have to say Merry Christmas before we go anywhere. And a Happy New Year. To the Two Davies.
Yep.
because I'll be back tomorrow morning to do the last one for me. So,
And what's the one I'm going to play?
Indie Truck Davy says, keep your politics in your back pocket and your eyes on the prize.
yeah, that's enough of that. That beats me out, man. Anyway.
And I say, time for independence, but we'll save that for another day because we're going to this blowing silly fest that goes on each year, which is Christmas.
Yep.
And what when you think about it is, fine, you have a good Christmas with your family, but also give half a thought to those people who cannot celebrate Christmas because they don't have 2 pennies to rub together.
Aye. No, that's you, Mrs. Moffat. Anyway, folks, we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Sarah and I will see you on Christmas Day. I'll see you tomorrow morning. But David will not be back and after the Christmas Day show, I'll be back in nearly New Year's Eve for a blather, starting probably about 4 o'clock. But I'll schedule it so you'll know.
Yeah.
But we want you all to have a very Merry Christmas. And thanks to you guys, there's a lot of people out there who have a better Christmas. And for that, we are all eternally grateful.
Really are.
Thank you very much to the moderators, and we'll wish you a Merry Christmas as well, and a Happy New Year. So, David, we'll see you back on air on the second Monday in January.
I'll go away. Was it Bermuda? I can't remember. It was Bermuda or whatever. I was going for a holiday. But anyway, I'll see about it.
Right. So, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everybody. David, you tell them.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, guys. Same to you, David.
Same to you, David. I'll speak to you before anyway, probably. But I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And then I'll see you again on Christmas Day. Bye for now. And mods, you don't have to work on Christmas Day. Don't you, Jesus? Have a nice day.